It's in. Not 5, not... I'm out. Okay. Thank you. Rabbi Yosef Yapi, thank you. Torah Anytime, thank you. Kavash Kocha Pratis. Thank you. Kala Loshik. Look at this. There we go. Oh, Gavaldi. Ivan Williams. This is Choshev. See that? We're okay around here. Yeah, the Olam is a little bit. 8 ounce. What? I'm thanking everybody. And I want to thank Rabbi Burstein for understanding my needs. At least somebody understands me. Rabbi Burstein understands me. You guys understand me too. Love me so much. These guys are great guys. It takes 40 years to chop the Rebbe. Ivan Williams is going to do the job. What do I want to say? I'm proud to have such Talmidim. I want to thank Hashem for giving us the pride of the Syrian community. The 2 Kassan brothers, David, what's your name? And Joseph. 2 sweeties. Batesh, come on. Syrian, the different branches of the Syrian, the Dil branch and the borough. We have the best. And then we have Mountaindale coming here. We have the Melech Hasana. There we go. Pleasure to have you. Jackson's with us as usual. We have the best people. How are you? Sweeter than ever. Pleasure to see everybody. I love it. You know what this is? You know what that is? That is Rabbi Golombek himself. What? Shiraim. Oh, they want me to make a big cup so I can have Shiraim. You heard that? I hope Torah Anytime. You heard what I just said now? I want you to hear that. The Olam is asking for a bigger cup so they can have Shiraim. Did you hear that? Now look, I understand, I know exactly what you're thinking, all those guys watching me from the distance. You're chalishing, why can't I be Zeicha to have Shiraim from the Rebbe? I'm stuck behind, inside that machine somewhere. So I say, don't worry, the fact that you want to have my Shiraim is enough. But Hebishter sees your rutzin to get the Rebbe Shiraim. Malo because of Gilo Osai. Because I'll say it's... Okay. Now let's get moving on this. The element wants to drink. You know how many bottles I had to throw? You guys are. Believe I know. I'm proud of my friends. They drink. These guys drink. This is a serious... Well, you got to be serious about something in life. We're serious drinkers. They have yapchik. Serious food. Serious food. Very serious about that stuff. My wife is sure is a serious Hungarian cook. She's not happy until the buttons are popping. Then she feels, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we hit the mark. Time to Amen. Come. Drink, Rabbi side. Drink. Happy Jews will bring the gula. Oh, you got? Take some more. Now, do you know, nobody's perfect in this world. Nobody is perfect. And believe it or not, as great as I am, L'chaim, let me get some more. As great as I am, I'm not Britain. I have weaknesses. One of my biggest weaknesses is I love Sfaradim. I love them, especially Syrians. I'm nuts, so I really am. I'm like, this is not kidding. I would say it even if it wasn't true, but it happens to be true. I love them. Aren't they sweet? Ugh. Yeah, I want to tell you something. The Mashgiach of Nosson once said, I was at my Rebbe Leo Arya. He's a Persian. And at his Sheva Brachas, they were saying very nice things about him. And I asked the Mashgiach when we left him, what is it about these Sfaradim? They have a certain purity, a certain genuineness, something about them. You know what he said? They never went through the Haskalah. You guys didn't go through Moshe Mendelssohn and the guys Nebuch that messed up Klal Yisrael with you didn't have that stuff. So they have a certain purity. Isn't that something? So it's an honor and a pleasure to have all this Friday. You too. You also Friday? Great to have you. There's no one like that. By the way, I even like Ashkenazim. Amen. Bekarov, Shakol Bara Likvodo. We'll have that some chassidus soon. The worst, the hardest cases, they're all getting married. Hashem can do anything. L'chaim, l'chaim. Somebody from my, one of my chassidim was asked. He's about, I don't know, 10, 11, I don't know what he is, a little kid. How old is he? Right? It's good. He was asked, what do you daven? And he said, I daven by Rabbi Mandel's Sha'ar B'tachon. So the guy asked him, how many people are there? So the kid said, that's not a Novandiga thing. You're asking how many people. You're looking for cover already. We're not into that stuff. How many people? How many people? Do you know how it drives people nuts to be, we got more, we got, you know how many Rabbanim I know personally? They sit there watching, how come he didn't come? How come he didn't come? Their head's spinning all over the place. It's so painful when you're looking for covet. It's nothing but covet. How many people? My Hasidus has more than yours. Covet, my friend. It's bad news. Covet. Anyway, it's so painful when you go that way. I got to tell you Mordechai. I got to tell you Mordechai. The Mama Rosara was upset with Hagar. Hagar said, I'm pregnant. You're married 90 years and you're not pregnant. You're 90 already. Boom. I know the score. I'm the good guy around here. No. Sarah is not the tzaddikus that we think she is. Look at that. She's still no kids. She didn't make it. She's not one of the good guys. Me? I just got married. Boom, Hashem likes me and not you. That's a pasuk. And Sarah went wild. She taught the simple pshat in Inui is torture. She tortured her. For that, who are you getting it from me? And she went to Avram and she was tumbling through it. Now, there's no question. Forget about being the Mama Sarah. She was a Neviah. And she was bigger Nevuah than Avram. You can't be a Navi if you have anything to do with jealousy, that stuff. You can't. You're so far from that garbage. So why was she so upset? Because Hagar was saying, the good guy is the guy who's making it. And the guy who's not making it he's no good. The guy that has the yeshiva that's struggling and the guys aren't coming to him Hashem don't like him. The guy that's got everybody coming after him, the popular guy with the smile that everyone's running after. The other guy who's struggling with that weak smile and it's barely moving, he's puzzled. He didn't make it. The guy that's making big money, he's good. The guy that's, Shem don't like you. You're out of it. You blew it. The guy that's finished Shas and he's screaming loud in the base medrash. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But the guy that's struggling and he's sitting in the base medrash and watches the way the other guy's screaming louder than him and he's not me. You're no good. That's what Hagar was saying. That's why Sarah said, that's no good. That's a churban. You don't even believe in Lefum Tzaira Agra. The greatness of Avram was waiting 100 years till he got what he wanted. That's his greatness. That's his mark of distinction in the next world. He waited all these years, and he had the yisurim that you go through, all the tzaras that you go through. That's your best friends. When people say, he didn't make it. Oh, you said that about me? Now I know I made it for sure. That's exactly what I want to hear. When you guys think I'm so-so, now I know I'm gewaltig. The whole Yiddishkeit is built on that. Avram Avinu didn't make it. How did he? The Eibishter teases him. It looks like it. He says, Avram, I'm going to make you big and everything. So you go, he moves. You're not finished with it. Everything Hashem tells him to do, he does, and boom, it doesn't work. So there's something wrong with Avram. Something's not right. And then there's a whole ma'aser with Sarah, with the Egyptians. They take Sarah to Mitzrayim. Terrible story, kidnap. And then right after he does the Akedah, which is the greatest sign of his life, right after the Akedah, what happens? Sarah's nifta. Your greatness, right afterward, boom. Avram, whatever move you make doesn't work. How do you like that one? This is our biggest hero in the universe, is Avram Avinu. There's nothing like him. And look at his life. No? The winner, the not the winner. The Novandigers laugh at this. One of my friends once had kinna about a certain manal. He's got a high position and they're all after him. They laughed at him. What are you talking, Mishagas? What do you want? There's covered you want. That's all it is. You could be 10 times bigger than him. From side of Agra. Okay. Anyway. Now, I'm getting phone calls. I'm in a state of shock. I'm not going to put down nobody. People are human. I get phone calls. A father of 13 children, a mother, 13 children. He's sitting and learning 25 years. And they're talking. I says, well, let me stand up for you guys. The people don't chap who they are. People don't chap. Why aren't you dancing your head off? A thing like that. How do you live with yourself without going sugar from simcha? You got to be so thankful. It's ridiculous. And if you're one of those that would like to do it and can do it, you're much bigger than those guys. The guy who struggles, checked this out. Reb just told me. I kept asking him, is it really true? The guy who struggles is bigger than the guy who made it? No question. And I heard the same thing. Reb Baruch Malchazrachi said it, and Rabbi Schwartzen, they all say it. The guy who struggles, here's a guy, he's always getting angry, and he messes up, and he struggles. He makes phone calls, how do I get rid of my kas? And he's not making it as much as he tries, and the whole family's angry at him, and he's never didn't make it. Then you have another guy who's smooth. In his house, you're not going to see no kas. Nah, if it's like that, stay like that, it's fine. But who's bigger? By far, the guy who's struggling. You can't compare. He's a winner. The guy who's struggling from Tzaira Agra. Toiv Pam B'Tzam and Mea B'Litzar. You want to make the announcement? Having what?
Oh yeah, there's a month from this Motzei Shabbos, Yud Zayin Kislev, is the Alta from the Radik's yard site. Every year we get together. This year we have a very big Malka with a Siyum on Shusha the Mishnah and the Chelik Nicholas Emerson Madregas Adam and a lot of the Ulam of Messiah together.
Beautiful.
Everyone's gonna
pleasure.
Go there to be Mishnata from the Koilo, from the Vadim, both Vadim, and the Shul.
Yeah,
on the door is Mishnayis, so people could take Mishnayis to help you Messiah a little bit. It would be very helpful. That's correct. Where's the big details are going to follow. We're going to make sure you know. You have to be there.
I was at a bris recently. I was at a bris, and I was watching the father, Avia Ben, and he says, he's about to give the name. The male's waiting. Vikar Shema Yisrael. What's the name? And he says, oh no. I forgot the name. What's the name? What they gave me the name, his father, whoever, they gave my name. I forgot the name. He starts going and says, see, the Rub is standing right there. And he says, Rub, what should I do? I forgot the name. Avram. So he says, Avram. So later on, everyone's excited and he's all worried. I hope he did the right thing. And then the ladies come, his wife comes to him and says, you hit it. Really? We just hit it on the... Unbelievable. I just the rabbi yesterday and he knew on the spot. How could that be? So he goes over to the Rav and he says, how did you know? So the Rav said, if the father's a terach, the kids are a Rav. I heard this last night. It was worth going to Staten Island for this one. They called me to go to Staten Island to speak with some guys. So before I left, the guy was telling me jokes also, but this one, it was worth the trip to Staten Island for that joke. It's great. Come inside. Come inside. The father's terach. The closet. It's a good one, no? It's Givaldi. Listen, in Novhardok, they would have said, it's a prat. It's a prat. He's just making a prat. It's all baloney. He knows the name. You know, he used to do that. The mashkiach of Mlikeod, Reb Nosson, used to do these things. He used to always just, did I make a bracha? He always looked like he was getting confused. And can you help me out? You know, him was a prat. You remember? He was great, the mashkiach of Mlikeod. Chaim l'chaim. Now, Avram Avinu, I'm going to tell you more the Gemara. It says, B'char chaysmin. Avram said, what's going to be with me, with everything? B'char chaysmin. You know his name is not mentioned at the beginning of Pasha Vayera. Vayera, Elov Hashem. Who is he? In the middle, suddenly, Avram. Oh, that's what we're talking about. Why is his name not mentioned? And Pasha Chayesara, Eliezer and Avram, his name is not mentioned once. You know why? Because Avram was a selfless person. He was off of Eifa. He didn't exist. He did things like, I'm not even here. He called himself, when he said off of Eifa, he meant it. You know, a friend of mine told me, I'm nobody. Please don't praise me. I know the truth. I'm a zero. And the next minute, I heard him screaming, somebody stepped on his toe. And he blew his stack. I said, 1 second, I thought you're nobody. When are you getting so excited? People are human. They say to say you're nobody is not so easy. To say you're nobody, you're never going to get angry. It's fine. But so Avraham Avinu and the Shunamis, the story in Tanakh of this week's Haftarah is about a Shunamis. Who is she? Nobody knows her name. All we know is where she comes from. Shunamis. And she's 100 years old. And she's described as an Isha G'dola. And Elisha comes to her. And she keeps saying, I'm just one of them. That's why her name isn't mentioned. And what did it tell you? When the name isn't mentioned, it shows the selflessness. All right, that's what I want to say. Sure. Now, the Eibishter tells Abraham B'char chaysmin. They're going to say, Mogain Abraham, not Yitzchak and Yaakov. You're the big one. Not your son and your grandson. Listen to this. It's worth coming here to hear this vote. It's an atomic bomb. Get ready. This is Kedai. The Eibishter was Mezakemi with this yesterday. It's Kodesh Kedoshim the vote. Avram Avinu, first of all, why does that Shem tell Agalu Shemecha? I'm going to make you great. I thought you're Mr. Nobody. You have to become great, so you got to understand there's a balance. You have to hold your nobody at the same time. You have to have ambition to become great. Okay. But when he tells them, you're going to be better than your kids, aren't the kids more important? You wouldn't want, they should say, Magen Yaakov, Magen Yitzchak. These are my guys. Me, I'm a selfless Avram, who doesn't have his name even there. Off of Eifa. And Hashem says, don't worry, you're the man. Come inside. Enjoy. You hear the kasha? Atomic bomb? You hear this bomb? You ready for the answer? Come da rein. Mach the Chemisch. Got some more. Wait a minute. You guys hear what's going on? There's no space. Rick the tish. That's right. Push it in, Rabbi. Push it. Rick the tish. The Rebbe got to lose weight. With so many chassidim. Oh, smach there. We got a new bottle today. Look at this. It said Ace Rotzain. Rabbi Burstein bought us Ivan, how do you pronounce this? Ivan Williams, wherever it's sour mash, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, small batch sour mash. Sounds good to me. What is this all about? It's on kids. Anyway, I often said that when COVID was at its height, I lost all my friends. Nobody came. I used to talk to the wall. Nobody came. COVID. My only friends that stood faithfully at my side were Johnny and Jack. Johnny Walker and Jack. They never left me for a moment. They're my loyal friends. You think it's a joke? You know that there was a during the war, World War II, there were partisans, and there was a Jew. The partisans used to fight the Germans. They made such trouble for them. The Russians had partisans. They were independent guys. They didn't have an organized army. They used to hide in the forests, and they used to, at nighttime when nobody's around, they went to the train tracks where the Germans had to have their the trains were going to bring supplies to the battlefront. They were fighting a war. They need, you got to get supplies and medical stuff and ammunition, everything. And they used to, in the middle of the night when nobody was there, they took dynamite sticks, they stuck it in there, they ran back laughing in the forest, and then suddenly in the middle of the night they had boom, and it was a train, just got derailed and smashed up until they repair it. And they're laughing. The partisans did a good job. If you do it. Now, Vahiyayim, one of these top-notch Russians, from the big generals, he came into the forest. He landed himself in there and wanted to see how the partisans were doing. Like, we're working together here. And he wanted to make sure they were using the full potential. And he found out the guys are drinking, as usual. Russian guys, vodkas all over the place. So he didn't like it. The guys, the vodka guys, busy drinking. You can do so much work and wipe out those Germans, and you're busy with your vodka in the forest. So he went ahead and he took barrels of vodka and he spilled it all over the forest. And the Russian soldiers, they say they fell on the floor licking whatever they could, some vodka, and they cried like babies. Vodka was namish. I've heard Russians tell me, it's pure. Vodka is pure garbage. That's what it is. It's pure. Vodka is pure. They love it. Some people say, you drink vodka on Shabbos, you eat a chamen. Chamen. It's a chamen on Shabbos. It's not a cholent. Drink some vodka. They worship the vodka. Anyway. I tell you, why is it? Vodka, it's a V, right? It's so interesting that that whole country is loaded with V at the end. Rostov, Romanov, Charkov, Stanislav, Khrushchev, everything has a Vov at the end. You know why? Rav Nosson Zatzal told me that's Edom. Edom today is Russia. I says, what about Italy? They're not important these days. That's where it is. That's Esav. So his name was Esav with a vav at the end. So that's Esav's Enikach. Everything's vav. It's probably an emisavot. And then the main dish is vodka. Anyway, Malchus HaRishah. Rabbi Tuski said, why do they call themselves Rasha? Chazal say Malchus HaRishah. You know that Chavetz Chaim said that the Russians are the Malchus HaRishah. As soon as they spread out, Mashiach is coming. Whatever Chazal say, Malchus HaRishah. They call themselves Russia. You know, whatever a name is not some joke. And when they say COVID, and everybody's complaining about COVID, you know what the problem is? Everyone's running after COVID. Work on that. Watch. The whole COVID epidemic is gone. Because COVID, if Moshe Feinstein said, COVID, it kills people. People have such sorrows because of the COVID. Does he like me? What? Did I make a good impression? It kills you. Your head's swimming day and night. I'll tell you, Maisa. You've heard this, it's fine, I'll say it again. I was talking before about having a big oilam. You know how much Rabbanim go through. They open to me. You know how much guys, my brother-in-law, he's so much better than me. Businessmen. So-and-so's making more money than I am. It kills people. He has more nachas from his kids. The ladies, I keep telling you over this story. Ladies have stress to be an American. Come inside. Kiptarai, Pinchas. No. Tavo. Umachake b'shvilcha. No, tavo. Jack Pod. Inside. Tavo, prima. Let's go. What? Lishtot. Black labels. They're tov ma'od. They're bari ma'od. It'll kill you. It'll kill it'll wipe you out, but good. It's healthy. It'll wipe out all the Jews, wipe you out. You want to hear a story? There's a story, I heard this from a Shagitz. I was in Nishteinkedach. I was in some place that had to be a medical zach. And there was a chinky guy was there, nice fellow. He was taking care of me, whatever. And we talked, and he told me about his friend, who his liver. It's hard to believe, but this guy didn't sound like he was some bluffing. His friend's liver, because of that kills your liver, you know that. The guy who used to work in YTT, his name was Soto. He had two names, Belshazzar, Soto. I say B'shlo Kagodim. You know what Vashi said about her father? Achashverosh, you don't know how to drink to save your life. My father could drink against 1,000 people. You know, it's Chazal. You don't know how to drink. That's why her name was Vashti, and drink. In other words, continuous drinking. That's my pshat. When she got that name. Vashti keeps you by heart. Drinking is everything. You blow your brain. So anyway, so you can drink. Anyway, where am I up to? Belshazzar Soto. You know what happened to Soto? What? Who? Yeah, we're getting there. I'm glad. Hold on. You know, I want to tell you, such a pleasure to be Novandik. I said this before. I heard everyone was talking to me, I had a big speaker, and in the middle he forgot where it was up to. And he snuck out of it. He said a quick, smart move that nobody really, and he did a good move, and then it was okay. By me? What do I care? I forgot. I make it official. Why should I try to say, yes, I forgot. You guys will help me out. Besides, I have nice guys to deal with. It's fine. You're allowed to, in Novandik, you're allowed to forget. You're allowed to be a little bit not so perfect. My Rebbe, Reb Chaim Halpern, told me once, Ich bin a bissel mishuga. I'm a little crazy. It's fine. It's normal. You ever see the list, Mishnah Saita? Anybody who thinks he's normal, you're in the wrong place. You belong 200 years ago. It says, Pnei Adar Pnei Kelev. that's got to look like a dog, the Pnei dog, the Pnei Kelem, no. Anyway, you know that the Minkat should never held that Czechoslovakia is Amalek? What? Soto is dead. Because Belshazzar Soto, his name was. Belshazzar was dead because he drank. He drank himself to death. If you give a guy a name, Belshazzar, so he performs like the Gilgal. His name was Belshazzar. That was his name. Belshazzar Soto. He worked on YTT, everybody. He was a nice guy, brother. They say when he got drunk, you bet he wasn't so nice. They say his kids would want to, whatever, it's nothing again. But to us, he was nice. Soto was Zavek. And who remained? Jose. Jose was his friend. Jose believed in God. He used to smile. Jose was a real Balmosa for Honduras. For Honduras Shagets, he was the biggest Balmosa around. I love God. I says, Jose, you didn't drink. I used to drink just like Soto. He drank himself to death, literally. His liver was shot. So what happened to him? Yes, Jose told me like this. Listen to the story. How'd you stop drinking? 32 years ago, I was drinking like nonstop, impossible. And I realized where I'm heading. I said, God, I can't do this. I can't stop drinking. You gotta help me. I can't do this alone. The next day, he's walking in the street and someone walks over to him, hey, Jose, the Alcoholics Anonymous is opening up down the block. Come over. And the rest is history. They cured him. But right after he said, God, I know a younger man. He had a lot of trouble with Kedusha. He was, for years, he just couldn't deal with it. And one day he says, Hashem, it's your job. Right afterward, boom, problem disappeared. It's a very good tefillah to use. You don't have to use Soto. I'm sorry, Jose, to know how to daven. But it's interesting. It even works. It works for anybody. Anyway, so let's get back to this other guy. So this other guy lost, his liver was mamish dead. That's the guy, this chinky guy told me. And the guy's mother. The guy, he knows the guy. There's not a Baba Meiser here. The guy's mother prayed to God all night. The doctor said the guy's dead. And the next morning he got up, and he was 20 then. He said today he's 40. He lived happily ever after. Because his mom prayed to God. How's that? You're allowed to tell stories about Goyim. Nishkefella. The Shem Emunim speaks about. Anyway, we're getting back to this Magen Avram. So he's happy that he's better than his kids. What's going on here? Now, first I want to tell you something. This is so important. Now look, whatever you do is the way to go. Don't listen to me. If you're holding and you're trying to decide in certain things in life, very often you take care of yourself, not your kids. Your kids will come out ahead. I just heard a story, Rav Shach sent somebody to be a Rosh Yeshiva in a far-off place. What? What's that? Tonight's a Yotzai. Yeah, help Rav Shach. Hey, look, Rav Shach. And is that something? The Eibishter made sure I should say that now. Should be a Melitz Yesh for all of us. So Rav Shach, Rav Shach said about Rav Chatzkel, he owes him more than his own mother. You know what his mother was? His mother, if his yarmulke fell off, she used to cry. She went meshuggah. You know what a malach Rav Shach was? Because of his mother? And he said he owes Rav Chatzkel more than his mother because Rav Chatzkel had Musar. So Rav Chatzkel had Musar. You know what Musar is? Rav Shach appreciated Musar. By the way, you're allowed to learn too. Nishkefalach. We have nothing against Gemara Rashi Taisis. Anyway. But, you know what Musar is. We have Novandik represented, one of the biggest Novandikas we have here. Anyway. Where are we up to? So, Magen Avram, back to that. Rav Shach said, he told the guy, he didn't want to take the job out of town. He's going to be a Rosh Yeshiva somewhere. You know what he said, Rav Shach told him? My kids. Rav Shach told him, if you're happy, You got a good job. That's the best thing you can do for your kids. So when they tell her, I'm not saying what's pshat him again, why the Eibishter told Avram, B'chor Chaisman, they're going to sign off with you and not Yitzchak and Yaakov. I'm just showing an Olam HaMaisa that we know of. It can make a lot of sense when you say, no, I want to take care of me. Not my son, no. You know how many people get messed up with this? The children come first. The children. Sometimes they're right. And some people need to do more of that. And sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes, don't give me this children. Me, I go first. Chayecha kaidmin. Not your children, I'm sorry. The Eibishter made Avram feel good. Don't worry, there's anything over with you. What's going on here? Because there's a makom to say, you. There's a makom for me. Now I go. What? Now I'm going to tell you. With Aaron HaKohen. Here I'm not looking to answer that because the point is there either way. You got to know what determines. Every case is different. There are people that need self-esteem. There are people that need to go all day and write a long list why I'm better than my wife. Because they don't think they are. And they're having a lot of trouble. And she's having a lot of trouble. It's not fun stepping on your husband's head all day. Whatever she's doing, yelling at him, thinking he's a nobody. By the way, some of the best marriage situations are those that are not perfect. It's fine. So she's the boss. So take a look at Avram and Sarah. Who seem to be in charge around there? Avram or Sarah? No, we don't understand them. A chutzpah to even talk about these malachim. But for us, who was in charge? Sarah put her foot down. I want Yishmael out of the house. And the Eibishter said, listen to Sarah, Avram. And Avram gave in to Sarah. Yitzchak and Rivka, who's in charge? Rivka, by the way, this is for the ladies. In both cases, the ladies came out ahead. This is for all the women. We don't have any ladies here. I'm gonna have to make up with the men. For a change, once in a while, I have a plug for you ladies. Rivka came out ahead. Right? She tricked her husband. And she got her son Yaakov to trick him to give the brachas to Yaakov instead of Esav. And thanks to the mama Rivka, she saved everything. Baruch Hashem, we got good ladies. Ladies come in handy. Don't make away with them. A mama Rivka. But let's get something else over here. Who's in charge? Who's boss? Yitzchak or Rivka? I think Sam Sofer mentions it. Why in the world doesn't she tell him anything? Why don't they discuss the issues together? Sarah and Avram and Sarah discussed, what do we do with Yishmael? And each one had his own opinion. But Rivka, she doesn't even get near. She was a 3-year-old girl. They say, Yesh Ayman. I don't know what that means. And he was 40. And first time she saw him, some say that. Some who says it. They say this. She was in such awe of him that she fell off the camel. And that's the way it stayed for the rest of her life. She saw a malach in front of her. Yitzchak Avinu. All right, I don't know the real pshat over there, but that's clear. She didn't dare tell him any advice. She didn't get involved in anything. She just went around, she took the back door and made a bypass and did what she wanted. But either way, the ladies win. That's good for us, no? I mean, it's good for the ladies. So, it's good for Shalom Bayis that Mendel says some nice things about the ladies once in a while. I'm just kidding. Now here's the story. So, a person has to know that sometimes if he takes care of himself, it's the best thing. Now listen to this. Rabbi Aaron found, I repeat this a lot. It's a broken record. It's fine. You gotta chazer it. That Rabbi Aaron Feldman Shlita, Yeshiva, Baltimore Yeshiva, has given me permission. And he never does that because he's a man of the public. He doesn't like to be quoted, Zachem. This thing said, say my name. I love that thought. And I said that you got to go around saying all day you're better than everyone else. Where did I get that from? Because it says by Aaron that he had chalishas hadas. He felt sabrachim when he saw all the Nesiim are better than him. So Hashem said, you're better than they are. So, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to say everyone's better than you. No, it's Ramban. Doesn't he say that? Is that all the Sfarim on Musa, you gotta say everyone's better than you? And here comes the Yebishter telling Aaron HaKohen, you're better than them? And what's my answer? He has Chalisha Zadas, a broken-hearted person. He needs that medicine. There's no way out of that. If he doesn't do that, he's in trouble. You know how many people I told? I know a certain family that I smelled a rat. This terrible, terrible matzah. Where the husband and the wife, the kids are dominating the parents. The kids are, you know how old they are? I think the oldest is 5.5. And do you know when the 5.5 kid walks into the house, the mother runs to one end of the house to get away from him, and the father goes to the other end, and they call Hatzalah. Let's get away from this monster. And the kid, he's in charge. That 5-year-old schnook, he's in charge. Are we doing a good enough job? Where did we go wrong? My dear husband, my dear wife, what are we doing? That's the monster. I know what. You know what I did for these people? I smelled the rat right there. They live, the neighbors where they live are way ahead of them. Whatever it is. And that kills them. The neighbors is killing them because without saying anything, they're very uncomfortable with the neighbors. Whatever it is, who's better? I think they're better. And I told them, you start writing down why you're better than the neighbors. And you sit on that. And you go to the neighbors and break the ice. Don't be scared of them. That nobody's compared to you. Went through so much service and they didn't. You guys went through the Holocaust. You feel inferior? They never went through a Holocaust. They're nobodies. They're little ants. So they're this, they're that. And make a whole case proving that you're better. That changes, the self-esteem goes shooting up. And now the kids, they all started with me. Okay. Anyway. So it's very important. Now, a lot of husbands have to write down why they're better than their wives. They have to do it. They don't have to tell the wife what they're doing. And sometimes the lady has to do that to the husband because she feels like a 0 minus. And even though a woman is supposed to be Bachliyat, she needs someone to guide her. You don't do anything on your own. You need a Rebbe who knows the situation, knows the person. Sometimes you got a husband who is destroying his wife. And she may have to do things like that. Sometimes people have to, I don't want to say chutzpah things, but sometimes a parent, here it comes. I told this to a guy. He is the sweetest, most edel guy you ever met. And he is suffering. I didn't realize how he's suffering from being so edel. And he was going to his parents. And I says, tell me, what goes on in your house? Well, my father dominates the whole everything. Do you ever say a peep? No way. You know how old this guy is? He's old enough, he's a married guy with kids. He's old, he don't dare open his mouth. Because his father is so dominating that he don't exist. I says, you come home and you say, Ta, I have a vot to say over. Nice way. But you're gonna say something. No, they did this to me. Not with my father, but with they said in Novehardik, you're gonna make your own chidushim. That put me on my feet. They said, no, don't quote everyone else. Your own, that's what whole B'tachon Weekly. His name was Ben Shlush, he was the Rosh Habad. Should be a schus for him. He was the one that told me that. No. Your own chidushim. You know what I do when I meet scary people? Big Rosh Hashivas, after they spoke, and everyone's going wild over them. I try to dafka go over, especially if I'm scared. If I'm not scared, so it's fine. And I compliment them with a great speech, and I say why also, because you gotta build them up. Everyone's insecure. You think you're the insecure guy. You don't know what's going on. The guy with the frock, he's not, and just because he stands like this, he's more insecure than you are 10 times. I'm just telling you that. You people don't know what's going on. They're in the Yitzhahara makes a whole. You live in dimyonos. Your whole life, you're jealous of a brother-in-law that's eating his heart out that he wasn't zeicher to be like you. People are so in. Envy is ignorance. They don't chop. Anyway, so where am I up to? Where am I up to, everybody say? Huh? Nobody's here. I'll start new stuff. Have a beautiful Chaim Tovim. Have a great, give my regards to the whole deal.
Yes.
Tell the deal they should keep up the good work and produce more beteshes. All right? We want more guys like you. How's your son doing? Eat him up for me.
Oh boy.
That's great. That's great.
But we're akshanim. Don't let it phase us.
You're the best. Chaim Tovim Shalom, you have yeshuas.
Those ones that make it.
That's right. Buah Gedola.
Amen.
Mendel, I want to go back to one thing that you mentioned. What's the chat with the kids? I have my son, he's 3 years old, and he says, Tati, this, I want this, I want this. So there is a way for me not to get Bekas and to go. Or he says, it's chutzpah, no, you gotta tell him, no, Tati decide. So where I know if it's the Ribbon Hashem test me, and then I gotta just keep quiet?
First you gotta speak it over with somebody who knows the matzah. Every case is different. Sometimes, my Uncle Mana said like this, it's a stage. So my Uncle Mana said, yeah. Stage, schmage, zwei petch, oi stage. You have 2 smacks, don't give me the stage business. I know it was a manal, I'll tell you who it was. Ramosha Roseberg, that's all. He was a manal in Lakewood Cheda. He thanks a certain Rebbe in RJJ, the old first yeshiva in America. What? You went there? I could tell. There's something special about it. Anyway, so listen to this. They were Malamdim schmoozing together in the hallway, and he was chutzpah. He told me the story. And he said something to one of the Malamdim. And the other one saw what he did. Those days, this was legal. He gave him one smack, and he went flying across the hall. Ramosha Roseberg told this to me. He said he thanks that Rebbe till today. He taught him what chutzpah is. For the rest of his life, he thanks him. You know, there was once an article about a guy, Kas. Well, I have Kas. We'll have therapy a couple of years to get rid of my anger, my issue with anger. So this Shagitz tells a story how everybody's running to therapists to take care of the anger problem. He says, I was on a football team once, and I used to blow my gut for everything. He was a real kaisen. He was a good football player, and he fapaked the whole world. At home, he did what he wanted. And he said, I conquered my anger in two minutes, completely. How? The coach saw the way I was blowing my head off, and he said, you do that one more time, and you're off the team. He said, for the rest of my life, I was different. Sometimes you don't have to get so complicated. Like my Uncle Manas, stage schmate, zwei petch, oi stage. Sometimes it's cool. It's not a joke. You gotta do it. So you're a little angry. So they quote a big mashgiach that said, you're gonna start working on kas, your kid will grow up to be a rotten vegetable till you're holding by not getting angry. You're not perfect. We try. You're not Reb Shol Salanta, you're not gonna be perfect, so you get a little, you work on it. Work on not getting angry. Other times, in Novandik, I didn't hear this in Novandik, oh no. Am I right? But Novandik lo dibru kacha. Wait, they understood. I used to hear this, Reb Chaim Halper used to tell me, you gotta put them in their place too. I heard there's plenty of that stuff. But but in Novandik, the more the nusach that you usually heard was, when that kid sees you're working on your midos it's good for him. When he sees that you are working on your midos and you control yourself, I want to tell you something. Chas v'chalila.
I was once with my father with Rabenu, Leil Shabbos, after Ma'ariv. My father went to say the Shabbos in the little office there in the big building.
Right.
So I pray with the light. Such a bracha with my father.
He gave you a smack.
I
I don't know, whatever they,
was like 3-4 years old. I was praying with the light.
I don't know what they did, but they did a good job. When it came to you, you turned out beautiful. You know, this gentleman gives his life away for kids here in Lakewood. He's unbelievable. He is such a, keep it up, we need you. Shmuel Kamenetsky's behind you. You go out there and turn over those kids. He cares for them, his whole heart. You know, it says, Rabbeinu Hirsch says, he says 50, Avinu said 50 people, B'soicha. What B'soicha means? They're part of the system. They see people around them and care for them. And he adds, they don't give up on them either. And they spend time and giving to Chacha and working with them. What can we do for you? Get B'soicha, he's Madayik. B'soicha, those people can save a city. Then he says, then there's other people. He brings a Gemara and Shabbos. Now watch out with this. Please, don't kill me for this. I don't mean to kill you either, but you're allowed to hear it. It's not going to kill anybody. If you're one of those tzaddikim, that's not b'say cha'ir. You're not so involved. You know what you could look like if you don't watch yourself? You could look like a guy that when the other guys are getting punished, you're cool, you're cold, you don't really care, because you're not involved. And when they get punished, you could even have a smug satisfaction. That's his lashon. Well, they deserve it. And he says, he brings a Gemara in Shabbos, he says, when Chas v'Chalila Tzara comes, those tzaddikim get punished first. Ooh. Now that's Rabbeinu Hirsch. Rabbeinu Hirsch was a Malach Likim. And the importance of caring for other Jews. Okay, you don't believe in kiruv, it's fine. But care. You gotta daven your head off for the Jews that are now. You gotta be b'soicha ear. You can't just, they don't count. Nebuch, he's off the derech. Cry your eyes out. Okay, that's enough. I don't want to jeopardy Olam. Anyway. So, what was I up to? Who? Right. Right. I got 10 minutes. What?
No.
Oh.
You're up to where he's scared of Shiva. He goes over to him after the shir. And what does he do? What does the Rebbe do?
What do I do?
Yeah, when he's scared of him.
I tell him my vot. I promise you. I don't want to say who I did it with. I have a vot. And he liked it. And then I went around telling everybody, even he likes my stuff. I'm on an ego trip. Magen Abraham, there's a Malcolm. No, you're Abishat Avram, the off of Eva, the nobody, whose name isn't mentioned, and he's such a none of. He said, Agad lo shemecha. You know what that means? I'll make you famous. The whole world will be talking about you. He needs to hear that. What's going on here? Gaiva? Avram Avinu, he said off of Eva. He needs that? Yes, you need it. Don't play games. You know what his name was? Avram Raimamus. And Sarah Shrara. And she had another name, Yiska, which means Nesicha, also a governess. No? So she had two names, and both of them mean top of the world. And his Avram Raimamus. And why did the first of the others have such names? Because Rabbeinu Yonah says in Shar Avodah that the beginning of Avodas Hashem is hold from yourself. And the beginning of the Avos is Avram. Then after that, you'll be an honor later. But start off, okay, listen to me. Nobody's going to do it perfect. I say, whatever you are, that's the Remimus. I like exactly the way I am. I want to tell you the importance of Sameach B'Chalkei. Okay, listen. I don't want to say too much Divrei Torah. I'd rather tell stories. I haven't told too many stories. I told stories today. Nishka fella. Okay, listen to this. Half full of a fella. I just wrote this up. My latest Bטחון weekly. I think they got it. They got me there. There we go. This is it. It's gewaldig. Anyway, my stuff is gewaldig. My shver zatzal was a Munkacher Chassid, and he loved the Bali Musa. And Tassan, I conned him in. He was supposed to get me to wear a shtreimel. And what happened in the end? I got him to get into the Musas from. In fact, I bought him, he requested it. I bought him all the whole set, a Chachmas HaMatzman, and all the Bali Musa, a whole thing like this. And he lapped it up. He liked it. One thing he liked the most. But don't worry, he got back at me. In the next roll, my Eneklach wearing Shtreimlach already. My Shver messed me up plenty already. I'm joking. My Shver knows I'm kidding around. My Shver is Michael me. And the next roll, in fact, he liked a good joke. He wouldn't mind. I heard this. I'll tell you, I told this last night. A bunch of Chassidim invited me to come to Staten Island to speak for them. I was there last night. He gave me a limousine service, and I came to a campfire in the back. It was beautiful. And then I told them a story. A bunch of Chassidim. I have my favorite story for them. My Shver wore a shtreimel. Look at me. He fell in with me, and I fell in with him. One day, my wife is schmoozing with my Shver, and she says, Tati, Mashiach's gonna be a Litvak. My Shver says, nine, Mashiach, but Nizankelit, Zan Eisel, his donkey will be a Litvak. That's what my Shver says. That's one of my favorites. My Shver, it's good. I said that in Williamsburg, in front of all the Chassidim, and I forbade them to tell it over to anybody in Lakewood. Don't let anybody in Lakewood hear what I said in public. Please. They laughed. It was good. Then I came to Lakewood and I said over the same joke. And the Lakewood guys, it's interesting. The Lakewood guys laughed much more than the bar park. I wondered how come. So I have a pirish, because that they didn't think it's such a joke. They think, why are you laughing at? That's I'm joking. Rabbi say, I'm joking. Please, everybody's macha. Anyway, but I'm not just kidding around. The Satmar, I have a smach to do these things. The Satmar Rebbe used to do these things, you know? He used to kid around with these shitas and the Litvaks. He kid around, he's a tzaddik. Anyway, Rabbi Aaron also did a little, you know that? A little bit. Anyway, I heard the Satmar was really, he was lebedik. Where am I up to? Who? Nobody knows. Well, start new stuff coming up. Yeah, here it comes. I have a vot. This vot is neida. This vot is the Kassim brothers. You guys get sweeter as I see you. You know, you want to put some out there and I have my stuff. You don't have to. You want to take a few? Yeah. So, I have to leave exactly 9 o'clock. They're going to kidnap me because I'm such a famous. You should know there was a Chassidish Rebbe. What? That's the new Vart. It's right there. You know, there was a Chassidish Rebbe. I can tell you who it was. Maybe I shouldn't. He was a Baal Meivis, a Tzaddik Yisrael Deilam. And he let you do whatever you wanted. So the Gabayim used to have a ball with him. And he was in one place. He was in Los Angeles. And some Gabayim got he was worth a lot of money. And you know, you heard about the sign in the newspapers. Gabay looking for Rebbe, 50-50. You ever hear that? So anyway, Gabay, you know, you're at their mercy, the Gabay, before you turn around. What about me? I'm the Rebbe. Oh, yeah, we'll take care of you too. But here's the story with the, what was I talking about? You know what they did? There was a group of Chassidim got a hold of him, the Gabayim, and they owned him, and he was like, whatever you do is fine. You know, there was a car waiting outside. When these Gabayim were turning the other way, they kidnapped him. Brought him to the other end of L.A. We got him. Bye-bye. We got the Rebbe. You know, Rebbes, they kidnap them once in a while, wherever you can make more money out of them. A Rebbe's worth money. I'm joking. It's rather not a joke. It's true. But I want to tell you this. That it says in, okay, now, I'm going to prove to you that Sameach Bechelkai is everything. You want to work on yourself? You want to steig? What do you want to steig? Shas? That's a good idea. Want to steig doing more chesed, more tzedakah? It's also good. It's all good ideas. But the main steiging of your life is Sameach Bechelkai. You know how many Mitziyonim? I just spoke to a Maggid Shir. He started a new yeshiva with packs of Mitziyonim. He told me they are so broken inside. What's going on? Mitziyonim. There's another Mitziyon. This Mitziyon is broken about this, broken about that. What's going on? You got to learn Musa. But anyway, I want to say it like this. That Sameach Bechelkai is number one. And I'll prove it to you. Dora Mabel. Gezel arise. You're not happy with what you got. You're stealing. Arise. You're not happy with what you have. And Avodah Zarah, Mamotzu Biovel. The Abishter says, what's wrong with me? You run to someone else. No Sameach Bechelkai caused the Mabel. Kain and Hevel, no Sameach Bechelkai. The Nachash, he wants Chava, no Sameach Bechelkai. Wherever you turn now, says the Gain, the Chorba Beis HaMikdash happened because of Sinas Chinam. Says the Gra, what does Sinas Chinam mean? No Bטחון. What's no Bטחון? You're not Sameach Bechelkai. That's why you have Sinas Chinam. The Vilna Gaon says that. How's that one? Sameach Bechelkai is everything. It's the whole Yiddishkeit. The whole Avodas Hashem 24/7. Be Sameach Bechelkai. That's Emuna. That's the real, I like me exactly the way I am. I don't want to be like this guy, even though I don't want to be, but it's ruchnius. Don't give me no ruchnius garbage. Same Yetzer Hara. But he just finished us and you didn't. Yetzer Hara. So I love exactly the way I am. The whole package. The good, the bad. I like my wife, my father, the Chovos HaLevavos says, you have those parents that are the best thing for you, but this, you're being tested. Everything's a test. What's the difference? It's all tests. And you got to be I have Johnny, I would have preferred Jack, but I'm Sameach Bechelkai. Today is Johnny's day. You have to be, whatever it is. Everything goes on in your life. I love it. And say it. Make believe. Make believe. You don't have to believe it. And you get the biggest mitzvah in the world. Okay, they're picking me up in 1 minute. So, Rabotai, Achayim. Pleasure to see you all. Give me a bracha. I should do a great job in Jackson.